Hello, and welcome back to another episode of my Aston Martin driver career mode in the F1-22 game. Today we're going to be racing around Spa. If you haven't worked that out already, I'm sad for you, because it's one of the best circuits on the calendar. And as you can see, getting qualifying started here. We're just coming up to the bus stop chicane here, as I believe that's our teammate Sebastian Vettel that we've just let through. But starting this lap, Spa is one of my better tracks. I think we can go well here. We have a good setup for Spa. Works really well, especially against the AI, who like to favour a more downforce setup around Spa. I like to go for the more straight line speed. I do have a lot more downforce on it than I do normally. As you can see, we go off track a tiny bit there. That would cost us quite a bit of time. But now, coming towards the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap, Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap of qualifying so far, but we are going to come home for a 1:46.2, which is going to put us around 4 tenths behind our teammate. But to be honest, 4 tenths behind our teammate on the first, my first run around Spa is actually pretty good, because I find it very hard for some reason to drive without the Delta. I don't know why, but it's just once you got the Delta, you can kind of work out how you are, how well you're doing compared to the other people's pace. But so we're already 7 tenths up on the lap, coming up through Eau Rouge and Reading, and we actually get floor damage, which isn't going to help us at all on our lap. As now along the Kemmel Straight, we are now going to fade to the bus stop chicane. Coming across the line, out of the bus stop chicane, we're around 5 tenths up. We are going to lose a bit of time on exit, but we are going to set a lap time that will put us in P16. And sadly, we did not have enough time to go for another run, so we are going to be starting in P19, which, to be honest, is not really the best place that we want to start. But I think, as I say, generally our race pace is a lot better than our quali pace. So I'm hoping we can make moves in the race. But now, let's get to the race.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team back in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special just around one of the many corners of this fan favourite circuit. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there's no place quite like it. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Fernando Alonso, George Russell and Gasly, Perez, Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty, Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon, Joe, Bottas, Alex Albon and Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Tsunoda, the engineer, Nicholas Latifi and Daniel Ricciardo. Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Okay guys, so as you can see, we have moved up a few positions because of grid penalties, and we're going to be starting right behind Carlos Sainz, as he's going to be the first car ahead of us, as we're going to start on the mediums, pretty much the same as everyone else. So yeah, forming up the grid here, we're directly behind Carlos Sainz. We have Yuki Tsunoda right beside us. So let's get this race started. Okay guys, so we're at Spa. We're going to be starting P14 as we're going to go to 5 red lights. And we go green in Spa. We get a pretty atrocious start, to be honest, compared to the Williams of Nicholas Latifi, as he makes a dive up the inside of the Ferrari there, Carlos Sainz, and the AlphaTauri there. We're now boxed in by Sainz and Kevin Magnussen here, as they just have the better acceleration out of the corner. We're going to go up side by side, up Eau Rouge and Raidillon with Kevin Magnussen, but we are going to stay ahead of him. And we are now onto the back. Well, not quite onto the back, but Yuki Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz are fighting up ahead. Nicholas Latifi and Yuki Tsunoda boxing in Carlos Sainz, and we're side by side with Kevin Magnussen through there. Yeah, that seemed to work quite well. Let's just have a quick replay of what happened there. It's alright. Now, we are losing a tiny bit of time in the corners because the AI are really OP in the corners with the setup we've put on. We're a little bit of a snap there, but we move on. AI pretty much alright, but as soon as, like, you see here, the Concertina effect, we catch up so much in that braking zone because everyone's right behind each other. We're just closing in and closing in and closing in. But we're now onto the back of Yuki Tsunoda. We're accelerating, and we're going to dive down his inside into the turn 1 hairpin, and we are going to make up a place back up into our starting grid position of P16. And next up is going to be the Williams of Nicholas Latifi to overtake. As you can see, up Eau Rouge and Raidillon, we are so much faster, which, to be honest, that doesn't seem right, since we've gone for a lot lower wings than the AI. As you can see from our straight line speed, we're going to go up the inside of Nicholas Latifi into the Lecombe section, and we are ahead of the Williams, and we are up into P15. And next up on our hit list is going to be Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, then our rival from Austria, Valtteri Bottas, ahead of him. As Sainz has actually managed to get past Bottas, and you can see there, the AI are so slow up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. We almost collided with the back of Bottas, and we actually had to go off track. But now with DRS and a tiny bit of ERS, we're now going to be side by side with Valtteri Bottas. We bang wheels a bit with him. We're really, neither of us wanted to back out there. Luckily, no damage for either of us, and we are now ahead of Bottas in the Alfa Romeo for P14, while setting the fastest Sector 1 of the entire race. So I guess that's pretty good so far. And once again, we're just kind of sitting behind and picking up on the carnage that's being made by Carlos Sainz as he's overtaking all these cars. As his next target is Alex Albon in the Williams, who's up into P12, which is actually amazing for the car that he's got. And you see Sainz trying to find a way past. He's definitely losing time in that Ferrari compared to Alex Albon in the Williams, but I'm not really complaining. It's letting me catch up, and it's probably going to let me get some more places. As now, this is where our car really comes into its own. Just a straight, flat-out section. Tiny bit of a toe, using ERS. No DRS here, so we definitely have a straight line speed advantage here. As you see, there's yellow flags ahead, and Alex Albon's engine's going to explode. That is actually really sad for the Williams driver. He was doing so well as defending Carlos Sainz. They're having an amazing battle up ahead as he's out of this race, and that's going to be probably another weekend where Williams aren't going to score their first points of the season, which is kind of sad, as we managed to set a fastest Sector 1 and a fastest Sector 3, but still not the fastest lap of the race, which shows kind of how bad we are through that middle sector. But now we're going to have DRS on the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He has DRS on the car ahead of Esteban Ocon, but you can see we're still gaining, and now through the corners we are going to cut to what I believe is the end of lap 5, start of lap 6, as you can see Esteban Ocon and Carlos Sainz are fighting ahead, and I believe that's going to let us catch up quite a lot. We're now right on the diffuser of Carlos Sainz, almost pushing him through the bus stop chicane, and now we're going to go up Eau Rouge and Raidillon to see. Oh, we actually go a bit wide there, but we are going to see if now we can capitalize on Sainz knock-on fighting. We're going to go up the inside of Carlos Sainz into the comp section, outbraking him, and we have overtaken the Ferrari for P12, which, to be honest, yeah, this is good. He's probably going to fight us back in these corners, because as I said, the Ferrari, well, just any other car on this grid is probably so much better through this middle sector than us, just because of the setup we've gone with. The AI have gone for strength in the sectors where it's really hard to overtake in, and I've gone for the strength in the overtaking zones. It's now on to lap 7, coming to the end of the Camel Straight onto the Lecombe section. You can see these cars are actually probably getting held up by that Haas ahead, which, to be honest, I am very thoroughly enjoying this, because that Haas is our probably main rivals in the Constructors' Championship, as we're going to make an audacious move up the inside of Esteban Ocon. As, yeah, that was just opportunistic and maybe a tiny bit unexpected from us. We saw a tiny gap and we went for it. That was probably one of my better moves that I've pulled around Spa. But back to what I was saying, it's Mick Schumacher holding up Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo, and we need to get past Mick Schumacher. Well, technically we need to get past Zhou Guanyu as well, because we want points in this race. But if we can get past Mick Schumacher, that means that we can gain on our rivals Haas in the Constructors, because as you can see behind us on the mini-map, why am I saying Carlos Sainz? He is behind us, but it's Kevin Magnussen who's the main one behind us, who we actually need to watch out for. So we're going to go up the inside of Zhou Guanyu, fighting him through the Lecombe section, but he is going to back out and let us have P10, and we're now on for 1 point in this race. As you can see, Mick Schumacher has pulled away a bit, but this is the section where the AI are better. We're going to gain a lot in Sector 3. He's also not going to get a slipstream off anyone. We're going to get a slight slipstream off of him. And you can see now onto lap 9 coming into the comp. We brake early because we don't want to go into the back of Mick Schumacher. I think he's got some kind of issue because he is quite slow for that Haas. That Haas, I believe, at the moment is like 4th or 5th in the R&D chart, which is actually, well, kind of expected for the Haas. I know they upgrade quite quickly, but now coming on to the end of lap 9, you can see we're gaining on Mick Schumacher. We're going to disable the ERS because we don't actually really want to pass it. You can see he goes off track there. We're, once again, not wanting to go anywhere really near his back end as we actually outbrake ourselves from braking early, which, to be honest, I don't really understand. But we are now going to get DRS on Mick Schumacher. Zhou Guanyu is going to get DRS on us, as our engineer is going to tell us to pit to hard tyres. Now, at this point, I'm following Mick Schumacher, and I'm starting to think these medium tyres still feel very, very nice on this car, and I'm thinking I really don't want to pit onto the hard tyres, which we know are not a very good race tyre for this car, as once again, not wanting to get anywhere near Mick Schumacher. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and extend this stint on mediums to see if I can get to softs for a little audacious alternate strategy, as we're now side by side with Mick Schumacher through the bus stop chicane. We cross the DRS zone after him, and we now have DRS on Mick Schumacher, who I believe, no, he doesn't pit, but Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc are going to pit ahead of us. And as you can see there, this is perfect for what we're trying to do, as Verstappen is right ahead of us and he's going to give us DRS. And if we can stay with him on old medium tyres and just keep his new hard tyre pace in, especially that Red Bull, we're going to be in a very good position to get some major points in this race. I'm thinking maybe P7, but he locks up ahead of us. Max Verstappen looks up ahead of us, and that's kind of our plans ruined, really. Or have they been made? Because Sector 2, where the AI are a lot stronger than us, especially on new tyres compared to our old medium compound tyres, we're going to be able to kind of hold Max up here and kind of just benefit from maybe letting him pass going into the bus stop to try and get that DRS once again. And, well, that's just going to really give us an advantage in this race. You can see Verstappen's losing so much time ahead of us compared to Leclerc and maybe even Russell and I believe it's Hamilton. Oh, I think that's a McLaren in P1 actually. That's interesting. But yeah, so we're just losing Verstappen time. He should overtake us here from being a Red Bull and having slipstream on an Aston Martin. But yeah, there he goes through and he is actually going to hit us and that forces us onto the grass, forces us wide, and we are actually going to lose quite a bit of time for that incident. As you can see, he's braking late into that corner. His tyres are still just so much better than us. We have a tiny bit of a moment coming out of the bus stop chicane. These tyres are not nice, as now we're going to go up into P3 in this race, which, yeah, that's pretty nice. P3 in this race. But sadly, we have lost DRS on Max Verstappen, and that is really not where we needed to be. We're trying to drain up, actually trying to get back in his DRS. We are actually back in his DRS window, but obviously this is in Sector 1 where we're strong compared to where the AI is strong in Sector 2 and 3. As you can see now, onto lap 15, the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez is going to repass us with DRS. That's the position that we really wanted to be in, as we're going to see if we can stick with this Red Bull. You can see he's already pulling away. These hard tyres are really not nice, and now we have Fernando Alonso on the back of us. Same lap, you can see Perez has already pulled 2.5 seconds off of us, which, to be honest, he probably should have pulled more compared to being in a Red Bull compared to my Aston Martin. But I guess I'm going to gain a tiny bit back here. But now into the bus stop, we still have Fernando Alonso ahead of us. He's not going to make a move on us, and we are going to come into the pits at the end of lap 15, almost hitting the wall there, as we're going to come into the pit to fit a new set of soft compound tyres. If you remember in qualifying, we didn't have a chance to use our last set of soft tyres, so we have a fresh new set of soft tyres to take us to the end of this race. We're going to have to be doing, I think, 22, 21, 22, I don't know, like 7 or 8 laps on these soft compound tyres. But you can see, coming out ahead of Esteban Ocon, that was completely unexpected there. As we now have the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz ahead, and then ahead of him we have Pedro Gasioso in the AlphaTauri, and immediately I can feel we've got so much more pace on these soft tyres, especially actually in this middle sector. We have so much more grip than before. We might not actually lose time to the AI in this sector. We might actually manage to gain some. So obviously they're now on old hard compound tyres and we're on brand new soft tyres, so I think we're in a pretty good position to maybe get P7 or 8 here. And you see, end of lap 16, we've already made up quite a bit to Pierre Gasly. I believe just about half a tenth on a lap, as Carlos Sainz is pulling away from him. So I think Carlos Sainz in that Ferrari is still faster than us on hard compound tyres. But you can see how much we're gaining to Pierre Gasly through the corners. We gained 2 tenths in that hairpin there. We're going to gain even more on the straight, and now probably see if we can gain a bit more. As we actually see, we have a tiny bit of front wing damage. I have no clue where we've got that from. Maybe coming into the pits we might have brushed the wall there, but we didn't get any notification on the MFD or from Mark that we had any kind of damage to the front wing. But it's not really hurting us that much, as we're still gaining on Pierre Gasly. We've made up quite a few tenths of a second, but still actually gaining about 3 tenths through the long right-hander there. So now out of no-name corner, we're going to go down through, oh, I forget the name of this corner, but now onto lap 20. Sainz is up the road, but Pierre Gasly is only just about a second ahead of us. We're most likely going to get DRS for the Camel Straight and even the Pit Straight as well, which will probably help us. Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race. He's still going a lot faster than us. As I said, he's in a Red Bull compared to us in a Aston Martin, but I still think we should have probably been a tiny bit faster. But you win some, you lose some. Now on to lap 22. We're still behind Pierre Gasly. We haven't managed to overtake him. As now up the Kemmel Straight, we're going to have DRS again. We're going to be draining our ERS to try and keep up with him. But he's probably still got quite a bit of battery left, since he's had no one to fight in the last few laps. So he's probably deploying battery. We're deploying battery. We got ERS. We got slipstream. We got DRS. Can we get past him? We're going to try and shape for a bit of a dive on the inside, but he doesn't make any mistakes, and we cannot get through. And now we're on to the section where the AI are just so much faster than us. Yeah. Especially on our soft compound tires, which I believe are about 50% worn at this point. Which, to be honest, probably similar to the hard tires, but we're on softs compared to their hards. So theirs are actually going to have grip. As you can see, Pierre Gasly completely just pulling away from us through the middle sector, as I don't think we're really going to be able to get another run on him here. As yeah, you can see he's just pulling away. We are still pulling away from Esteban Ocon, as Charles Leclerc wins this race. So yeah, it's just Pierre Gasly's pretty decent driving keeping us ahead of him, as now Esteban Ocon starts to gain. He probably heard me in the commentary box and started going, I gotta hurry up, I'm losing time for Aston Martin. But yeah, Charles Leclerc wins this race for, I believe, his 7th or 8th win of the season, I think. Which, to be honest, is actually insane. As, yeah, we are not going to be able to get Pierre Gasly's. Carlos Sainz is the fastest lap of the race, as we are going to come home for P9 to pick up 2 points for Aston Martin. And that's 2 points up on Haas from last race, which, to be honest, is very, very decent. As Carlos Sainz gets driver of the day, I think we should have got it for our strategy, but
a difficult race then, one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to look at the podium here. Charles Leclerc is going to win the race once again. He's looking quite dominant in this championship, but a Red Bull double podium may threaten them in the Constructors' Championship, with Sainz being a little down the order. But guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed, and I will guess I see you guys next time for, I believe it's Hungary. No, it's Zandvoort. We've just done Hungary. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully Charles Leclerc won't dominate anymore. Well, I kind of hope he does. I don't want Max to win. Bye-bye.